Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Dearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and to all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. Hokey smokes. I'm still busy. I got some stuff I want to show off. One thing I do want to talk about, though, I watch a fair number of channels, and one of them is a science channel, and one of them is by a fellow named Kyle Hill. He used to be involved with some other organization, broke off on his own, but he still does a lot of science. Now, there is a thing that has been going around for a while called the dead internet theory, which is where most of the internet is not human-made anymore. It's just bots. Bots making pages, bots doing comments, bots doing everything. And most of it is just out there, especially since you can get people who can get a bot and it'll set up a whole website and then start churning out articles. And then, so there's a whole bunch of the internet out there that's just not for people, not made by people, and people will never interact with it. It's just the machines interacting with each other. Kyle Hill talked about what's going on with generative AI, and we as a species really are not prepared for this. I mean, seriously, he was talking about stuff that's kind of scary and kind of horrifying. I mean, right now, cell phones and any kind of cell stuff or phone stuff to make a real life phone call is rare. And what's a large part of the stuff that killed that was robocalls, spam calls, garbage. So because even now, most calls are just trash, and people are right to ignore phone calls. There are still people like me and my sister and such like that, and there's businesses that still require phone, so some phone stuff is necessary. But otherwise, yeah, it's been ruined by robocalls and spam. The internet is getting there. The dead internet. And then of course there's places like Google now. If you've ever paid attention and wondered why your results on places like Google aren't as good anymore, that's because Google's algorithms are no longer generated to get the best search. They're to get the best result that you will click on to get the money. I have myself put in very wildly different prompts for search and gotten the exact same result. Go to Bing or DuckDuckGo and son of a gun, I get actual results. So a lot of the internet that way is just being made useless. Generative AI is making that worse. Because as he pointed out, and it takes time to make a video, so it's probably even worse now, just ChatGPT alone is turning out more text than the human race has put out in its entire history. Every 2 weeks. That's a lot of text. That's just the text. We now have, there's the voice to AI, script to AI, text to voice, there's text to video. You can make very convincing AI avatars now that do stuff on their own now with generative AI backgrounds now. And remember that today is the very worst that AI will ever be. So as he points out, the Turing test says, can you tell just by giving a lot, text output, if the person, if whoever is responding to your questions is computer or people? We can't do that anymore. Generative AI, unless it fails spectacularly, which it still will do, can do that. And this is the best part here, we now have the tools with the whole ChatGPT and text to video where one person can now, sitting in their basement, do the job that hundreds of people used to do, because this person can now tell ChatGPT to do the script, tell another thing to act the script, tell another thing to voice the script, another thing generates the background. Put it all together, you have got a professional looking studio video with a character that gets up and does stuff. Yeah, it's not quite convincing right now, but today is the worst it will ever be. And how are you going to tell if anything is created by a human being anymore? When I go to Drive-Thru RPG, where I try to find cool games, you can sort of make a guess what is made by a person and what is not. When you have one company that's putting out a whole bunch of things, which is 1,000 medieval names for $1, how much research and work does it take to go out and get 1,000 unique medieval names? That's work. How much work is it to tell ChatGPT, make 1,000 medieval names, formatted into a book form, submit it? There's so much like that. And now with a person who can just put out a whole suite of professional misinformation videos, which are only going to get better, what is being considered is, well, let me back up first. It's now, I've talked about the dead internet. They now consider it the dark forest, because human beings are going to become clustered into smaller and smaller areas, while the rest of it is all bots doing generative AI. And how are you going to tell what is human and what is created by a human? We're going to need something like a reverse Turing test, where you prove you're human instead. So far, CAPTCHAs that you type in defeat AI. So you can use that. But the only other real way to prove that you're a human being coming up is to show up somewhere. Otherwise, any video, any audio, any picture, anything that's digital is likely generated by AI. Thumbs up. On that matter, I did want to talk about this. One of the things that showed up yesterday that I picked up was an expansion, the $8 expansion for One Deck Dungeon. And so I want to sort of play it again with the expansion, but I did so poorly. I mean, I died, so I didn't do poorly. I played the game and had fun. But this is the Abyssal Depths. It has just a 2-card thing for how to use them. But for $8, you think, hey, you need to get some stuff. Yeah, they're just a couple of cards, but this is quality cards. And this is good art, good, ink work. It's a lot of different characters with a whole bunch of different mechanisms. And, of course, you have the new characters for both single player and 2-player. Yay! So for $8, that's not bad. I wish I showed off everything that I get, but lovely ADHD. I got Mini Rogue a little bit ago. I can't remember how long ago. I saw C4, CEEPHOUR play it on his channel, and I got interested, so I ordered it, and Under Falling Skies or Warp's Edge, something like that. I got to show the rest of it off. But this seems very interesting, and I want to play it. One of the things that's interesting about it is it seems to have a different mechanism that's very close and similar to Iron Helm and Tin Helm by Grey Gnome Games, in that you're going through a set number of levels, and each level has a set number of rooms. That's what you do in Iron Helm. You have a bunch of cards that will randomly decide, but you use 2 cards per room, so there's a set number of rooms, and you're going through a set number of levels. So similar mechanisms, but really there's not a whole lot you can do. But this is one that I do want to play for the channel here. It's a couple one of those. It's one of those where it's got a smaller playing board. It's just a 9-card thing. So that would be cool. And then not replay. Well, I don't know where I put the cards. Play One Deck Dungeon again. As well as I gotta get the things out again. I think I showed off Warp's Edge. I'll have to show off those things again because I gotta get my table over here cleared off. But segueing from this to that, because ADHD Squirrel, we were going to have a couple months and some ago room inspections here at the Veterans Village, homeless vets place to stay, so you're not homeless. A nice place. I do like it a lot. But we were going to have room inspections, and that's just to make sure you stay keeping things, clean and not awful. They're not checking for dust. We're veterans. We're older. It's not that sort of thing. And this inspection was supposed to be an infrastructure check. Basically make sure, because it's new, that everything's working the way it's supposed to work. But the person in charge here got sick. So tomorrow we're having our inspection. And of course, tomorrow morning, I have a CT scan of my lungs because I have calcified nodes in the bases of my lungs, and this was like 10 or 15 years ago, so hopefully I don't have something really awful happening. I also was TB positive, so maybe that's what it was, and then I had the meds and it killed that, so who knows. Our body likes to put calcium on stuff, so it's hard to say. Hey, is there anything? I know there is other stuff, and I cannot remember what it is because, again, ADHD. I try to write things down when I can, but it's hard to remember to write things down, and when I do, it's hard to remember to look at them. I think did I mention that I got an electric kettle? And it works really, really well because once it hits boiling, it just turns off. So it boils really quick, and it doesn't sit on a hot plate or anything. This is the thing that attaches to it, and it goes into this, and this heats up, so there's no hot plate, and you can set this down on anything once it's done because the base isn't hot. And then I got that. I bought tea, and I got home yesterday, and I gotta go back to the store so I can buy a mug. I don't have a cup to put tea in. So joy on that. But still, things are working out well. And oh my gosh, I have mentioned before how when you are eating food, you have neural tissue in your gut. Brain tissue. Actual brain tissue in your gut. That's when someone says they have a gut feeling. In butterflies and all that. That's the neural tissue. You are thinking down there. But your gut is also influenced by the microbes that are down there. If you eat a lot of junk, the microbes that like junk are going to proliferate. And the ones that like things like carrots and lettuce are going to shrink in number. As you have more of the ones that like junk, you're going to find yourself craving junk. Because that's what those microbes want. If you eat a lot of healthy food, you're going to be craving healthy food when you're hungry. For a long time, I have been fighting eating things like baked goods. Little Debbie's is one of the big things I've had troubles with because stress eating. I'm a big stress eater these last couple years. But because I've been trying really hard to not eat junk, I've been going up to the store lately and I even stopped in the bakery aisle thinking, gosh, do I want to get a garbage snack? And no, I didn't. And the last time I got garbage, it was another Little Debbie's thing. It was not a chore to eat, but back when I was stress eating for real, it was like, oh, these taste good. I can't wait to shovel them down my neck. This was like, I bought them. I'll eat them. So it's working. And you know what I've been thinking about eating a lot and just really on my mind? That jasmine rice. So I'm going to be looking up stuff like rice pudding if it doesn't take up a lot of, sugar, because I don't want to use a lot of sugar now since I'm getting away from it, or at least doing my best. I live in the United States. Sugar is in everything. But if I can do some minor cooking, that'll be good. I want to still go back to my storage unit, grab the slow cooker that every room here had, and bring it back, because if I can do some slow cooking with the rice and stuff, that'd be good. Because yeah, I put a lot of rice in my bowl this morning, and half a can of chili, and I had that for breakfast, lunch, brunch. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, there's still a lot of rice in there, and I just want to eat that. Carbs. I mean, carbs make you hungry for carbs, and rice is just starch. So I don't want to go too heavy and too hard on just eating only that, or eating too much of it, because I got way too much weight I got to get rid of already. So yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to making rice with the rice cooker so I can eat it. I'm looking forward to trying things out with maybe the slow cooker. I'm really looking forward to doing this. It's like all of a sudden I'm really looking forward to doing things that will maybe extend my life a little. That's a good thing. A little extended, not a little good. And then just so that garbage all over them, because hey, I leave them out without protection, just so I can read the manuals for stuff like this, since my glasses with the bifocal parts, only this part works, and if I squint super hard and put it at just the right distance, can I read text like manuals for mini road. I have reading glasses now, and when I put these things right here, oddly, for the first time in my life, my right eye is the eye that sees things close up. With my left, I gotta hold it at a much different angle, but it's really easy now with those reading glasses for this eye to see up close. And that's weird. This eye has traditionally just been far off. So anything close up like that, quite amazing. And a good thing. Yay! So I've got that, I got to go and get my mug, I've got stuff, actually there is a thing at the pharmacy to go and pick up another package that's showing up today. So that'll be a good thing. I have decided against. I had been thinking of getting the bookbinder thing where it'll put that plastic ring binder onto your paper, and so it's in a smaller thing. But if I did, the only thing I would be using it for would be to convert what I've already got into that. And I don't mind the way they are in spiral notebooks. So I would be spending money on the covers, on the combs, on the machine. That's almost $100 as an investment on something that I probably wouldn't use. So my thoughts of getting a bookbinder to put my stuff into bindings like that, I got notebooks, I got the page protectors, they work great. Definitely a thumbs up. And I still have to go up to the library today, get some printing done there. Especially I got to re-upload the one manual so that they can take a look at it, so I can try printing that. Yay! I talked about this the other day where everything was printing wrong, and then they charged me for something that I had to cancel, so thumbs up. Anyway, though, is there anything else that I have to talk about? The answer is no. Nothing has really been going on in my life other than what I've been talking about. There's not a great amount of stressors, but there are enough. I was going through everything yesterday. I took four Walmart bags of stuff from here to the storage unit. And where I'm having to store this and all, this, I have drawers over here in front of the mini water heater. And on top of the one, I have to store the kettle. And on top of the other, I have to store the rice cooker. So if I do get another thing, bring the slow cooker back, that's going to take up even more space over there, meaning more stuff has to go back over to the storage unit. Which, while annoying, on the other hand, I can't just go from Southern Shelton to Walmart back to Southern Shelton in one 6-mile round trip anymore, because I live only less than a mile away from Walmart. So the more trips I have to make, smaller trips like that, as long as I get the trips done, get out there, get moving, that'll work. A lot of smaller trips rather than one big trip. And I'd rather do the big trip, but that's okay. Definitely a thumbs up on that. So these are the things I have to get done, as well as going to the Department of Social and Health Services so I can get my food stamps, all $23 of them if I'm lucky. I've got other calls I have to make and try to get an account made on the Social Security website so that I can get a copy of my award letter that shows people how much I make so that I can give it to the people that require it. One of the things that you can get when you stay in a place like this for a year is a voucher for some low-income housing so you can get out into actual housing. But you got to do everything right, which means you need to turn in all things like your earnings paperwork when you get it. And I was homeless when they sent it out, so I gotta try and figure out ways to get it, since the office that I could go to pick it up is in Olympia, and I don't live there. Still though, gonna get done the things that I need to get done. Hopefully you can get done the things that you need to get done, and that would be good. Don't beat yourself up if you can't. That won't help. Each and every one of my Patreon patrons, you are beautiful and awesome people. You do help me to survive in so many ways because my food stamps were reduced to $23. Guess what I'm using to eat now? Thumbs up and thank you so much. It is good to be only a slightly hurting monkey rather than a Christmas monkey being subjected to constant hosing. Thank you so very, very much. For everybody else that leaves me, ow, I keep banging my elbow on this table here. For everybody else that leaves me comments, thumbs up, and thank you. It is appreciated. I answer as many as I can. If I don't answer yours, you're not being ignored. It's just this, or I can't think of anything to say. Big part of my neurodiversity is I don't really know how to react to people. I don't know how to people very well. And a bigger problem with that, especially in comments, is text. Strips 95% of all context out of your communication. We use body language and tone so much, and none of that comes through in text. So when I get text messages in comments, I quite frequently have no idea how to parse them. I don't know how to people very well. And some of the times it's just, I got nothing. I'm failing as a human being. I don't know how to respond. So that does happen. So, yay. Still though, I want you to take care because I'm going to take care. Until we meet again. I just said you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very, very good thing. I can understand why they don't do this. If you hold your hand up like this, it'll start the recording process if you haven't started recording. You wouldn't want to do that to stop recording, because what happens if someone just goes hi and then the camera turns off? So, hey, I'm gonna tap the on-screen stop recording button. You take care and have a great day. Except that if you've watched this far, type Fallout is awesome, because I tried so hard to record Fallout New Vegas yesterday, which is why I had the short on it. It just kept crashing and crashing and crashing. Some days it's stable as, you know, the Rock of Gibraltar, and some days it's as stable as a mountain of sugar in a puddle of water. Just woo, melts away, and that's what it was. So I'm gonna try, who knows. Anyway though, time to stop recording for real this time.